Hey everyone, welcome back. So today's actually Saturday. I didn't do a video yesterday. I got a little tied up with other things, so figured we'd do the video today to talk about what happened yesterday as far as Bitcoin. Bitcoin had a huge day, obviously. So did the miners. We only had, I think, one miner that was down, and there's a reason for it. We'll get into it. So we'll get into Bitcoin the chart. We'll take a look at it. We'll take a look at Ethereum as well, and we'll also take a look at the miners, see how they did. They did pretty doggone good yesterday. And then we'll also take a look at a new story from Cleanspark. They're buying a site from Mawson. We'll take a look at to see how much they're actually going to pay for it and how are they going to pay for it. We'll look at the numbers here that we have from June, basically from their Q2, and see if we can kind of figure things out a little bit from there. And then we also have Argo, August production update as well. Pretty good month for them. Not as good as I would have liked to have seen, but nonetheless, it was pretty good. So that's it. Let's get into the news here. But as always, not financial advice. You guys know the drill here. I'm invested in following coins and companies for full disclosure. And if you enjoy these types of videos, please consider subscribing. Helps me out. Hitting the like button also helps out the YouTube algorithm and gets the video out to more people. All right, let's get into the markets really quick. So the markets were actually doing really good as well yesterday. S&P 500 was up 1.53%. Dow Jones was up 1.27%. NASDAQ was up 2.11%, which was obviously a good day in the markets and for Bitcoin as well. We had a huge rally in Bitcoin. It was up 10.57% on the day yesterday. We did breach our trend line here that we've set since November of last year. And we've been battling with it here a couple of times. We battled with it in the past as well. We can see here on the chart that we did go above it back in March of this year. We stayed there for about 10 days or so. We fell below it, and then we've pretty much stayed below it the whole time here. We did try battling with it again in April. Battled with it a little bit here in May, and then finally we battled with it again in August, and we've been kind of going down with this trend line ever since then. And we battled with our support here at 19,500. We did beat above it, and then after that, we obviously rallied pretty hard on Friday yesterday. So we finished out on the day yesterday, we finished out 21,364. We are now at 21,474. A little bit higher, about 0.51% on the day so far. We'll see how it goes. The trick here is going to be to see if we can stay above this trend line and continue going up possibly further. We do have the CPI data that's coming out this week, sometime this week. I think it's Wednesday, possibly Wednesday or Thursday it's coming out. But we'll cover it obviously when it happens. That could obviously have an effect on Bitcoin price going forward, at least in the short term. If we raise the rates, after that, 75 basis points, I think we'll be okay. If we go up 100 basis points, we might be a little bit of trouble here. But if we go only 50 basis points, well, I think we might have a little rally here going on. So right now we're looking okay on Bitcoin at 21,479. Ethereum is at 1,736. It has obviously done pretty well yesterday as well. It was up 5.1% on the day yesterday. We are getting closer to possibly the proof of stake coming into play, where we have the merge happening later on this month, around the 20th, I believe. So we'll see how that also affects the Bitcoin or Ethereum price going forward. But yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that one, see what happens there. Obviously, the miners are going to have a hard time switching over to other coins that are mineable by GPUs. We'll see how that all transpires as well. And we'll see which coins get the most hash rate switched over to them. So we'll cover all that as well. And now looking at the mining stocks here, let's take a look at Annie. Annie was up 11.14% to 65 cents, almost 66 cents. Nice rally there. Argo was up 6% to 41 cents. Bit Digital was up 8.16% to $1.59. Bitfarms was up 9.37% to $1.40. Cleanspark was up 6.42% to $4.81. Cores was up 9.18% to $2.26. DigiHost was up 7.88% to 81 cents, almost 82. DMG was up 3.6% to 23 cents, almost 24 cents. Greenidge was up 5.19% to $2.43. Hive was up 10.61% to $5.11. Hut 8 was up 11.9% to $2.35. Iris Energy was up 10.55% to $4.61. Luxfolio was up 3.12% to 7 cents. Marathon was up 6.79% to $14.16. Mawson was actually down 12.09% to 66 cents, and that is basically because they sold one of their facilities to Cleanspark. I think that's why that one was going down. Riot is up 10.72% to $8.26. So Luna was up 5.61% to $3.01, and Stronghold was up 10.27% to $1.61. So obviously the only one here that was a loser was Mawson, and that's possibly because they sold a facility to Cleanspark, like I said before. So let's get into the other things here that we got going on. So Bitcoin halving clock, we got 556 days. We're counting down. We're getting close to it. Possibly within, like I said, within the next half year to a year, we might start getting our next rally happening before the halving event happens. So we'll keep an eye on that. And let's get into Cleanspark news here. So Cleanspark has been on a tear lately as far as buying miners, buying facilities, and now buying more facilities as well. So Cleanspark announces agreement with Mawson Infrastructure Group to acquire turnkey Bitcoin mining facility. And here are the details. So pretty sizable site here. It looks like the already operational site in Sandersville, Georgia includes 80 megawatts of total capacity supporting 2.4 exahash of Bitcoin mining, which is a nice increase. Obviously, Cleanspark has stated before that they want to get to like 22.3 exahash by the end of next year. This is part of that process, them buying out other miners that are distressed right now, it looks like, and getting more miners, ASIC miners as well, buying those up to fill these facilities with. So well, they're getting closer to that goal, and this is just one of those steps towards it. So Cleanspark today announced it has entered into a definitive agreements with Mawson Infrastructure Group to acquire Mawson's turnkey Bitcoin mining facility in Sandersville, Georgia for up to $33 million. The transaction is expected to add 1.4 exahash per second to Cleanspark's hash rate before year end, 2.4 exahash in early 2023, and 7 exahash by the end of 2023. The capacity supports Cleanspark's target of over 22 exahash by the end of the year. So if they can get to 7 exahash added with this facility and what they currently have scheduled, they would be at around, I believe, 12.5 exahash currently. So they still have another 10 exahash that they need to acquire or build out, and then buy miners as well. So still quite a ways to go. Cleanspark has also agreed to purchase from Mawson 6,468 of the latest generation mining ASICs for approximately $9.5 million in cash and at a cost of $17 per terahash, which is really good. These machines already operating at the acquired site will add over 558 petahashes per second of computing power immediately upon closing. These are like at 87 or 86 terahash machines, at least in the averages, based on the amount of miners. Divide the petahash by the amount of miners, and you can come up with what the actual average hash rate is per the miners. But we'll take a look at it here on my spreadsheet. Mawson will receive consideration of approximately $26.5 million in cash, so including $9.5 million for the miners at closing, up to $11 million in Cleanspark stock based upon the current trading price, $6.5 million which is issuable at closing, and the remaining $4.5 million of which is subject to reaching certain earn-out commitments. So we'll see if they have enough cash on hand right now. $26.5 million is quite a bit. And then $3 million in seller financing in the form of promissory notes, and an additional $2 million in seller finance earn-out payable at least 60 days post-closing upon certain conditions as well. Okay, so we got total price for this is going to be $42.5 million. They are paying $26.5 with the miners included, and then $11 million of Cleanspark stock. That gets us to $37.5 million and 37.5, and then we got $5 million in financing from Mawson, basically. All right, so we'll take a look at that here in a minute. The turnkey infrastructure is currently capable of supporting 24,108 latest generation miners. There's an ongoing effort to expand the facility by an additional 150 megawatts by late 2023. Upon completion of the planned expansion, the site would be capable of supporting 70,000 latest generation miners capable of producing over 7 exahash. Now, if you got the 140 terahash miners, you're looking at quite a bit more. You'll be looking at, what would that be? Let's do the math here really quick. 70,000 times 140, let's do that. You're looking at 9.8 exahash roughly, if they got the XPs from Antminer. As part of the agreement, Cleanspark will provide up to 30 megawatts of temporary hosting capacity for up to 180 days while Mawson transfers miners to its Pennsylvania operations. This process is slated to begin in early 2023. Immediately upon completion, Cleanspark will use the space for self-mining, which is great. So they are helping Mawson out for a little bit while they get the Pennsylvania set up and running. And then those miners that they have there are going to be moved out. So that is good. Let's see if there's anything else here. That is it. All right. So let's take a look at the numbers here. We'll highlight this here, and then let's take a look at my spreadsheet here. So the miners here that are added upon closing, obviously, so those will get added in maybe sometime this month or next month when they do close on it. But that'll obviously give them a nice increase here. So right now we have approximately 6.4 exahash of known purchases of miners that have been obviously reported to us. That is going to be, those are going to be about 86.2 terahash miners. It looks like on average, there might be some faster ones in there, might be some slower ones, but on average it's coming out to be 86 terahash, which isn't the greatest, but it's not the worst either yet. So that's okay. They bought some 88 terahash miners here in July 14th. They also bought a facility here, or bought miners here for 3,400 miners in August. They also bought some more in September. So they've been obviously on a buying spree here in the last couple weeks and months, which is nice to see, obviously, since they're trying to get to 22.3 exahash by the end of next year. They really need to grow. All right, so that's the miners part of it. They are currently at 3.4 exahash, so they're about 53% operational. We still have about 88% growth, but once we start getting more information on more miners possibly being bought to get into the 22, that is obviously the growth potential is going to grow way up here. Okay, now looking at their financials from Q2, we can see that total current assets was about 29 million or so. They had cash and cash equivalents of 2.6 million. They had, what else do they have here? Prepaid expenses and other current assets. Digital currency is about 10.5. Derivative investment assets 2.7. And they had current assets held for sale. Not sure what that is. It could be their other operations that they had from their prior business that they're getting out of. So that obviously equates to about 29 million. We do have them with a BTC current hodl position of 526 BTC. That's basically 10.1 million right now. And I should probably increase the price on it. Let's do that. Bitcoin is at 21,000 right now. Let's see here. September 21,000. Let's just go 200 currently. That gets us to 11.1 million in value right now. So that's part of that digital assets they have on hand, which is pretty close to that. So they do have the 29 million needed to pay for the 26.5 million, it looks like, in cash. And then obviously 11 million in stock would equate to, what do we have here? We're at $4.50 on the stock price, or 481. So take 11 million divided by 481. We would be diluting by about 2.3 million shares would be diluted, added to it. So we'd be at about 40, almost 50 million shares roughly added to, well, not added, but we would be at total 50 million shares, close to that right now. So I think they have obviously enough funds to do that. The other miners are going to be coming online and that they're purchasing here for 20, what did they buy those for? 28 terahash, $28 per terahash. Those are going to be probably paid for in the future when they actually do come in. They're supposed to come in October, November, December, I believe, by the end of this year. So those are going to be probably paid for with their operations. They have obviously been making about 8.8 million for August, 8.2 million in July, and June was 6.7 million. So I think they're going to be funding it from that. If not, they're going to be probably getting like an ATM or something like that to fund the current growth here. But overall, they've been doing a great job at growing, not diluting shares as much as some of the other miners. They've been using the Bitcoin to fund operations as well, which is great, and that's why I'm invested in them. But as always, not financial advice, do your own research on this. But I do love what they are doing here. So I think they're okay. Looks like they're going to have possibly enough to cover what they need to cover here based on the current assets held for sale. If those got sold off, they would be at the needed amount of 26.5 million. The other 3 million, or was it 3 million and 2 million here are seller financing. So I don't know how those are going to get paid out, but that's the least of our worries, at least, I think. All right, so that's it by Cleanspark. Nice job by them continuing to grow their operations looking for ways to obviously grow and getting to their goal of 22.3 exahash by next year, which is quite a big goal, and we'll see how close they can actually get to it. But right now, they're doing all the right things to get them to that spot. So, all right, that is it for Cleanspark. Let's take a look at Argo here. So Argo announces August 2022 operational update, and here are the major points. So Argo mined 235 Bitcoin or Bitcoin equivalents together BTC compared to 219 BTC in July of this year. The increase in BTC mined is primarily due to an increase in total hash rate capacity at the Helios facility compared to previous month. So that obviously went up a little bit. Let's see, they're continuing to install new S19J Pro miners at Helios, having achieved a total hash rate capacity of 2.5 exahash by the end of August. So we'll take a look at the number there as far as how much they increased. Argo remains on track to complete the installation of the Bitmain machines by October 2022, which will increase its total hash rate of capacity to 3.2. So basically another 700 petahash is getting installed, which is pretty good growth there. As of August 31st, the company held 1,088 Bitcoin, of which 244 were BTC equivalent. The company closely monitors market conditions and is actively using a variety of derivatives to manage BTC holdings and mitigate risk exposure. So that is fine. They made about 5.23 million from that based on the exchange price of British pounds to US dollars. Argo generated this income at a Bitcoin and Bitcoin equivalent mining margin of 20% for the month of August, which is pretty bad. July was 37%. This reduction in mining margin was driven by two factors: an 11% increase in the price of Bitcoin, 11% decrease in the price of Bitcoin, and a high power cost at Helios. So Helios provides for electricity at spot power prices, so that's obviously not good. So spot pricing obviously is very dynamic. It's very volatile sometimes, especially in the markets that we are in right now. They would have been much better off having a long-term agreement, and I think that's something they're going to be working at right now. So, which are significantly higher than in previous years. In August 2022, spot power prices in West Texas averages nearly 9 cents per kilowatt hour, which is nearly 3 times the average price during the month of August in prior years. Right, so that's obviously not good. And then down here, we had something else. And then they did say, we will continue to monitor the market and evaluate our options for securing long-term fixed pricing PPAs. So that is obviously something that they need to work on in order to get a better handle on those costs, I think. They are obviously pulling a lot of juice. They should be at fixed pricing instead of spot pricing. Okay, I think that is it. Yep, let's take a look at my spreadsheet here for Argo, and we'll call it a day for today. All right, so current hash rate is at 2.5 exahash. Future hash rate, why do I have that at 2.5? That doesn't seem right. And they're not fully installed yet. What am I missing here? Let's see here. Going to August. 2.5. They're saying they're going to be at 3.7. Right? Got the right one? Argo? Argo. And we got Argo. Let's see here. Where did I go wrong? 2.5. And I still have... Oh, that's why. Nope. Pull this down. There we go. Okay, 3.7. That's more like it. So they got enough miners already purchased to get them to 3.7 roughly. They are at 2.5 right now. So they are 67% installed right now. 49% of growth left into them. BTC HODL is 1,098. Current value on that is 23 million. So a pretty good HODL position there. They did mine 235, which is an increase of 16 over the prior month of July. Their BTC per petahash has gone down a little bit, 0.094, but they installed roughly, what do we get here? 271 petahash for the month. And that obviously contributes to it when you're installing quite a bit. You're on the average, the number here comes down a little bit until that kind of evens out a little bit. Also, they sold about 432 BTC at approximately value of 9.6 million, roughly. So they are selling a little bit less here. They sold quite a bit in July, 877. In June, 637. In total, they've sold a total of, what is that? A sum of $41 million worth of BTC in the last 3 months. So quite a bit there. And looking at the numbers here, we did install August. Where's August? There's August. We did have them running at 21.4 days. So obviously, if they can get that to running almost full months, their BTC per petahash is going to increase a lot more, and they're going to obviously generate more. But they've been shutting the machines down because of peak pricing, and when that happens, you know, it makes more sense to just shut down than to run the machines. So I think that's why they are at where they are, and they earned about 5.2 million roughly for that time period. They were operational 21.5. I calculated on average here for July, so we're still seeing that kind of a issue with them for spot pricing, and then obviously in June they were 24 days roughly as well. So those are the mining numbers for the ASICs. Let's take a look at institutions here really quick as well. Institutions did decrease a little bit to 41 from 43, and shares went down about 30,000 for institutions, and percentage owned went down to 10.23 from 10.24. We still have one strong buy rating. We lost the buy rating here from the prior month, and the price target went down a little bit to $2.55 from $3.26, and the average went down from 191 or from 260 to down to 191, and the low is now 127 from 193. So institutions have been selling out basically a little bit here. Okay, so now based on all of that information, we're looking at possibly this quarter them making 16.6 million. Obviously, September's not over yet. We'll see how many miners they get installed in September, along with where the Bitcoin price ends up at, and we'll use the average Bitcoin price for the month of September as well, like we did in August. And the last 3 quarters are basically set in stone. Those aren't going to change. So that's 64.7 million. Combined total of 81 million, and then if we're using 50%, which is obviously not, how do I put this? Not accurate, I guess you could say, since they're reporting it's 20% was their margin for the month of August right now. 37% was for July. I'm not sure what June was, but on average, if we take it out, they're below 50% right now. So we're looking at about 47 cents at a P of 7. They do have a little bit of growth left in them, so let's get them up to like at least 15. So we're looking at $1.01, possibly. I'm thinking maybe anywhere between 85 cents to $1 on that. And then if they can actually get their margins up to closer to 75%, then they would be at $1.52 right now, and that's just based on their current growth and future possible revenue here. So that is it. Great job at least getting the miners installed. We do want to see, obviously, more miners being possibly bought, expanding out their infrastructure to grow further, because they are going to be pretty much close to done here. And, well, I don't know if they're going to be completely done this quarter, but possibly in Q4, they're going to be all installed and operational at 100%. And then, obviously, with Bitcoin network getting bigger, hash rate going up, difficulty going up as well, they are going to generate less and less unless Bitcoin actually goes higher in price percentage-wise than the difficulty does. So that's a couple of the things that make it swing a little bit. But that's it. Yeah, not a bad month. Need more miners, like I said. That's it. So that covers Argo. Cleanspark obviously had a pretty good month in August. Them buying more miners is also fantastic. I'm buying more shares. I'm going to try and buy more shares next week. Not financial advice, do your own research. That's kind of what I'm doing. I do like the fact that they are selling Bitcoins to fund their operations. They're not diluting shares as much. They probably will a little bit here because of the growth that they want to get to. With just what they're mining right now, it's going to be a little bit more harder unless Bitcoin really starts going back up. Well, then that will obviously help them out. But I'm in it for the long run till we get to the next bull cycle, hype cycle, and I'm going to sell out at that point. Wait in a couple months to a year, buy at the low again, repeat the process. So that's kind of my plan here. That's it. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously. The spreadsheet is always available to my Patreon members. Thank you to everyone there for their continued support. Love everyone there. Love everyone here. Hope you guys have a great weekend. I'll see you guys possibly tomorrow when we review the miners, how they did for the week. And then we'll cover maybe some other things that are interesting as well. So that's it. Have a good one.